As we jump over, we wanted to share with you some of the key challenges that we've begun to see through all of our meetings with universities. And we've met with almost 100 in the last 12 months. From our meetings, what we've understood is that there's no doubt that parking is still one of the most frustrating and confusing problems that afflicts US universities. So listed out here are just some of the key challenges that we've found are facing administrators that are running parking on campus. The first one is confusion. So I'm sure that many of you are still operating under a hybrid model where you have students both on campus as well as joining classes from home. But post-COVID, it's predicted that campuses are going to see an increased number of single occupant vehicles returning to campus. Now, with those are new rules, there's lot closures, lots of universities are making updates to parking permit entitlements, and that means that parking confusion is expected to be at an all-time high. And the frustration that comes with spending a long time trying to find a parking spot has led to parking actually being one of the most complained about aspects of modern campus life. Number two is an inefficient use of parking spaces, and this is one that we hear almost across the board. We know that people are creatures of habit. Students and faculty tend to get into a rhythm of when and where they can park. And we've found by surveying students that up to about 39% of them, of drivers that are actually coming to campus, they tend to park in the same place every single time. Now, it's typically because they're familiar areas, but what we've understood is that they're not necessarily the best place for them to park. So a recurring theme that we see is that the most popular lots and garages at universities tend to quickly hit 100% capacity at peak times. Drivers will then come and complain to the university that they can't find parking, even though there are better parking options than the one that they were heading for, and they would happily use them if only they realized they actually existed. Now, moving over to the administration side, the third one is that technology solutions are typically disjointed and they don't work together in harmony. Now, most universities have vendors for parking needs. I'm sure you all have things for mobile payment, enforcement, things like compliance and occupancy monitoring. And unfortunately, they seem to almost be operating as a silo. And what that means is that parking managers spend way too long going in to actually break down and understand the information that they need to extract. And that's especially so at reporting time from what we hear. Fourth is that administrators lack insight into the actual utilization of their parking assets. So many of the universities that we've spoken with, they're unsure whether the parking allocations on campus are actually optimized to best serve the daily visitors to campus. And when we start talking about new buildings, there's billions of dollars of planning decisions that are being made without always understanding the impact that that's going to have on the parking network itself. So that's both from an economic standpoint, but also how is that going to impact the drivers that typically park in those locations that are now going to be built upon? And then finally, the last key challenge is really having uncertainty into how to take the first step towards your future vision for parking and transportation on campus. Universities, you're well aware of the issues that plague parking and mobility on your own campuses, but what is often unclear is how to take that first step towards a solution. And again, that's really the key of what we're discussing today.